Welcome, everyone, to another episode of our podcast. We're the Football Tailgaters, and here we talk everything about the NFL, including your picks for bets and fantasy. As always, I have here with me Yams, the Jets fan, Andy, the unbiased football fan, and myself, Aaron, the Cowboys fan. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about fantasy, a little bit about our locks for Week 3, and can the Jets continue to win after that clutch win by Joe Flacco? I guess the drive that he had was pretty crazy. Browns making a huge mistake, specifically with Nick Chubb. I have him in my fantasy, not complaining that he got that touchdown. He just racked up more points for me, so I'm not complaining. But it was really bad, and he, after the game, he realized that was a big mistake, and he owned up to it, which was great. He's a great player, and he was a great fantasy pickup. I'm surprised I was able to get him as a flex. So let's talk about the Jets, Yams. How about that? Joe Flacco, the legendary Joe Flacco, the statue. I don't know what you want to call him. What do you think about your Jets? Can they continue to win?
He has a new name for me. It's Broadway Joe Flacco.
Hasn't that been a nickname from him before, or no?
Well, there's Broadway Joe. Remember Joe Namath?
Oh yeah.
And so for this one, it's Broadway Joe Flacco. So I'm so excited. They won. I can't believe the Jets won. I'm so excited. A happy Sunday for me. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't pissed. I didn't throw anything at the TV this time. I was a happy camper.
There was a moment.
There was a moment where I was pissed, yes. But
what about Garrett Wilson, man? Oh
Garrett Wilson, he's a star, man. He's gonna be something. You'll see. I think he's gonna be like a hot waiver ad for those people who are still in the 10-man league that wide receivers are still available.
And Breece Hall is also
touchdown and a pair of
good.
touchdowns for Garrett Wilson. It's just crazy, just how the NFL, these teams, as long as you don't quit, you have a chance to win. And who quit was the defense for the Browns.
Completely.
They just quit.
They were just like walking fast, trying to stop. What was it, Davis?
Corey Davis,
Corey
yeah.
Davis
They
in
were
the first
just
touchdown in the last 2 minutes.
They were just like walking. Yeah, okay. Like I was with the Browns defense. Like, yeah, okay, woohoo, you scored. Good job, Jets. All right, you just make the score look a little prettier. And I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's pretty hard to get that onside.
Yeah,
kick.
I'm like, let's just get this game over with, man. Let's just get that L. I'm ready.
And once you saw that onside kick,
once I saw that onside
boom.
kick, I was like,
Yeah, that was great.
yeah, I was screaming here. It was wild. So
The Browns aren't a bad team either.
they're not. Their defense is good.
So it was an impressive win for sure.
They really need to work on the run defense, the Jets. And can they continue to win? Why not? I think it can happen. I think it can happen next week. If a Cowboys team can beat the Bengals, I believe the Jets can beat the Bengals too. So if they bring the same attack against the bad offensive line to the Bengals that the Cowboys did, I think that they do have a shot. Can they continue to win the season? I don't know. Winning does cure everything, and it does bring great morale to the team. It brings them up. I believe with the Garrett Wilson now, people can see that he is a threat. We'll see. And it's Joe Flacco. He is.
I mean, his prime is gone.
His prime is gone.
But he did some veteran plays at the last 2 minutes. Because he did also have the whole game in order to just be more competitive, and they were the Cleveland Browns was 2 scores ahead almost. So I can't say completely cool that the Jets won. I do give them credit for those last 2 minutes. That was unbelievable. Passing it over to Corey Davis for that long throw for that touchdown, getting that onside kick, and then moving down quickly to score with Wilson again.
A minute 20.
Yeah, with Wilson. So I do give them credit for that. But the Browns, I see this game that the Browns lost it.
Well, thank you.
More than that the Jets won it. No, I'm serious, because if Chubb didn't score, if he just slid, then the game would have been over. They just have to kneel down for them to.
You have to
No,
understand.
you can't diminish the performances that a lot of the rookies had and a lot of the
I'm
players
not.
from
That's
the
what I'm
Jets.
saying. I'm giving them credit for
big
that.
time. Think about it. We've been watching the Jets for some time now. The same old Jets would have just bombed it. Okay, yeah, Nick Chubb scored.
No,
okay.
I get you. They do have some weapons that are better. So I do see a brighter future for the Jets. But the problem is still the quarterback. Because Joe Flacco, his prime has been gone. I mean, I'm not gonna say that he's back just because of those last 2 minutes that he played. And then Zach Wilson, we have no clue what he can bring. I mean, he was playing horrible in the preseason. He injured his knee, and then we have that whole weirdness of him gonna be playing for week 1 or week 2, and then boom, all the way to week 4. So I still have to see what Zach Wilson can do, but I'm still like sticking to my guts, especially if you have good players coming about with Gardner Sauce, with Wilson, with Breece Hall. You're having a lot of these good players, and if you don't have a good quarterback, then I would just kick Zach Wilson up to the curve and just draft a quarterback next year. You cannot waste time, especially in rookie deals.
I don't think Zach Wilson would have been able to win that game against the Browns with 1:50 left on the clock.
We don't know. That's the thing.
I don't know. That's why I said I don't think.
Yeah.
Highlight the word think. That I don't think that he would have been able to win it. I think the Flacco being the veteran quarterback that he is, and also he was very calm. He's always calm, right?
He's always calm.
So
he's just those types of quarterback that just stay in the pocket and just.
He's a statue.
Yeah, well,
he is a statue, but he was able to be a good statue this time because the O-line.
Well, you can say that quarterbacks. I mean, throughout the whole NFL, that's how a quarterback is.
Pocket passer.
Yeah, just pocket passer. In this new time, in this new era, well, it's been a while now, but it's just more and more of these quarterbacks being able to use their legs. Hence, Trevor Lawrence, Kyler Murray, Justin Fields. I can
Lamar Jackson.
I can Patrick Mahomes. I can keep going and going. Even Josh Allen too.
Yeah, Josh Allen. I finally get rid of Tom Brady. Now we have Josh Allen to deal with. So.
What a monster team that Buffalo team is, right? Yeah, no,
what a monster, man. So they play the Bengals next. After that, they play the Steelers. We'll see if Kenny Pickett makes an appearance in that game. It depends on how he plays in the Browns. If it is against the Jets, it's Wilson against Pickett, because they say that Steelers is the game that Wilson might show up. After that, it's the Dolphins, Packers. They've always kind of been competitive with the Packers.
Really?
Yeah. And then Broncos and so on. So, I mean, I can see.
From all those
more losses,
teams that you've been telling me,
more losses than wins.
No, I mean, if the Jets can be able to continue what they did in those last 2 minutes, which, I mean, again, it was just the last 2 minutes, then they should be able to, as long as we see them how they were playing in those last 2 minutes. But again, the Cleveland Browns were kind of like quitting on them, so I can't really say, oh yeah, the Jets are just monsters now.
I would say this is a big game for both the Jets and the Bengals. The Bengals, it's their prime moment.
Yeah, they can't go
to see if if you don't beat the Jets, something is really wrong. With this team.
What's wrong with you?
They went to the Super Bowl.
Hold on.
That's what's wrong with us, honestly.
Exactly. Now, if the Jets win, this is something to really keep an eye on here. We might be seeing a very competitive AFC East here, and that's going to be exciting. The Jets are finally turning it around. But it's Joe Flacco right now, and you still got Zach Wilson lingering with an injury, and he's going to come back soon. So you got to think about that. How are they going to perform with Zach Wilson back in? Because it's a different type of quarterback.
And they have to play him. Like, they have to play him through the whole season.
They have to play him, yeah. It can't be a Trey Lance situation here.
So we don't know. It's also we have to see how the Jets perform as a whole without really focusing on the whole quarterback situation. But it's kind of hard to do that because it's the quarterback situation, because it's the backup playing, right? It is a veteran quarterback. It's past his prime, but still.
Well, let me ask you guys a question real quick. Teams, when they get a first round quarterbacks, is it really that bad for you to move on pretty quickly, like in year 2, instead of just wasting time?
Depending on your options.
I mean, the Jets are doing it.
No, they stuck with Sam Darnold for how long? Was it 3 years?
There's a chance that if Flacco is just rolling it and they're winning, killing it, there's no reason why you need to throw in Zach Wilson until they lose.
No, what I'm saying is that in every year there's like quarterbacks that might be good, right? There's always quarterbacks in every draft. But if your quarterback that you picked up in the first round is not playing good in the first or second year, is it really bad to just move on instead of like doing it old school way of like having the rookies for years and years and years? No, even like you're saying, Aaron, injuries. Like, let's say Trey Lance situation. If I'm the 49ers, first of all, I wouldn't have not given so many picks. I think they give up like 3 first-round picks, 2 or 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance. I wouldn't have done that. I would have done like the Patriots.
You got Jimmy Garoppolo, though.
I'm sorry?
You got Jimmy Garoppolo, though, and you got time to invest. If you invested that much, you might as well just commit.
They should have
in my opinion.
They should have committed.
With who?
With Trey Lance last year.
Yeah, they should have been done last year so they can finally figure out if he's worth it or not.
Yeah.
Why did they spend the whole year flip-flopping back and forth between Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance? You wasted a whole year.
I agree. So
you wasted a whole year, and you gave away those picks. So especially if you chase a quarterback like that you want him so badly, you give up picks, and then you don't start him.
If you have 2 years, well, let me go back to last year. He did get injured. So Jimmy Garoppolo went down, and then Trey Lance started like for 2 games, and then he got injured, or in the first game.
But he wasn't the starter.
Well, regardless, though, he did have an opportunity to continue and maybe even take over that season.
But he got injured.
But he got injured, and now he's injured again.
Big time.
So the biggest ability for players, they say, is availability. So if your quarterbacks are not going to be available, move on quick. I have no problem. Like, okay, you drafted a quarterback in the first round. It didn't pan out, then draft another one until you get a winning quarterback, or else you're just going to have years of trying to figure it out with your quarterbacks.
How many years would you give it?
2.
Like 2? Well, then the Jets did that. They drafted Darnold in 2018.
But they haven't done it, though. With Sam Darnold, they were like 3 years, and then they traded him.
Perhaps they haven't...
I don't know if Zach Wilson plays bad this year, if they would draft a quarterback. If I were the Jets, I wouldn't waste time.
Okay, what about the example of, let's say, Joe Burrow, right? He got injured and was out for the whole year. What happened if that second year, when they went to the Super Bowl last year, what if he got injured again? Would you quit on him?
Yeah, maybe. And like last year, but we didn't know that he was going to go to the Super Bowl. No, I get you.
I know, but you run that risk because he is capable of taking.
Well, okay, well, hold on. You're telling me of Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow last year, like, does he get injured right away in week number 1 or week number 2? Because if he gets injured like in week 12, and we saw him play lights out through week 1 through week 12, well, of course I'm not going to move off from him. But if he's not playing that great, or if he got injured right away, then yeah, I'll probably maybe move on from him. I don't want an injury-prone quarterback. It ruins your season.
Okay, you move on. Mm-hmm. Let's say you move on from the quarterback. You're the general manager. What round are you going to pick up a quarterback when you're passing up on pretty good players in round 1, round 2, round 3? What round are you willing to risk picking up a quarterback?
Well, then that's a position for the general manager to figure out.
You got to look at your whole team.
Like, maybe you have to trade for first round picks.
How important is a quarterback at that stage? Like,
important
is it worth?
Exactly. That's where I'm going with exactly where Aaron is. Is it worth picking up a quarterback when you have a quarterback?
You don't have a quarterback if he's injured or if he doesn't play well. So you have to figure it out and trade for a veteran too, so to keep it a little bit more competitive,
that's not
I guess.
For the Colts.
Well, it's not working out for the coach, but for the Colts, but they might have another issue there. But they have to draft a quarterback too for the future. They can't be just like, okay, if Carson Wentz out, Matt Ryan out, or maybe it's the head coach, the situation. So, Matt Ryan, he did throw some passes that should have been caught in the end zone. They should have they wouldn't have been shut out. Mm-hmm. So there's some issues there as well. So it really depends on how your quarterback plays. But I have no issue for any NFL team after they draft a quarterback, if they are injured and you see that they're not playing well, to move on. And that seems that's what happened with the 49ers with Trey Lance. There's always these rumors during the preseason and training camps that they're not liking what they're seeing from Trey Lance, then you know what? It is what it is. You're going to look bad anyways because you picked them and you traded all. I mean, and you're going to try to make it work with him, and it's just not working year after year. And then you have like valuable pieces that are going to be asking for money and asking for.
You have a small window
yeah.
to make it work with your team, especially with the rookie contracts.
And with the Jets, you have a lot of rookies. And if years pass by and you're just wasting those years from them, let's say that they're really good, so you're just wasting years, and then you're gonna have to be paying them, and then plus the quarterback, and now quarterbacks are getting paid a lot of money, so it's just gonna like hold up your salary cap.
I get you. Yeah, back to the Jets. They have to play Zach Wilson. They have to see what he can do for the team.
For sure.
It is going to be tough. I know, Aaron, you mentioned it. If Joe Flacco continues to be Broadway Joe Flacco for the team and brings in wins, it is going to be tough. I think it's going to be a tough decision for them to bring in Zach Wilson when the team is winning, but they have to.
They have to. And honestly, Yams, I would just wait to see what they can do against Cincinnati and see how they play. Because
I'm excited. I can't wait for it to be Sunday. This is like the first time I'm happy and I'm ready to see another Sunday game, and I'm excited. I think they can pull off the win. I think they can pull off the win.
What's the spread?
5.
4.5.
Oh, and some websites it's 5. But yeah, 4.5.
Yeah?
Yeah, some websites.
So clear favorites, Bengals here.
Clear favorite? I mean, 5 is not really a clear favorite.
Well, I mean, like not in the spread sense, but in the general audience of like a lot of people are just like going, oh, Bengals are winning this one.
What do you think, Aaron? You think they're winning the Jets?
Like if they're going to continue to win?
Well, I don't think they're going to continue them. The schedule is pretty hard for them.
Yes, it is. I think they can win against the Bengals, depending on how the Bengals play. If they can finally get their act together, I think they can win against the Steelers. They'll lose against the Dolphins. Packers.
So they need to win actually against the Bengals because they do face the Dolphins, and then they face
Packers.
I can see them being a competitive game.
Yeah, because they have a good defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they face Broncos.
They just need to be better than Aaron Rodgers. Broncos, Patriots.
No.
Bills.
No.
Patriots again.
No.
Bears.
Yes.
Vikings.
Maybe.
Bills.
No.
Lions.
Maybe.
Maybe. Jaguars.
Maybe.
As long as
Seahawks.
the Jets are competitive.
Yeah, that's the only thing is they're competitive.
If it's close games, they have a good future. And I think Salah is staying if a lot of these games are competitive, but they lose because, you can excuse them for having a young, unexperienced roster.
Yes, we will see.
But, yeah.
But I'm excited. I haven't been excited in a very long time, and I think I speak for most Jets fans that are fans. If there was a win and we're excited, it's been a while since the Jets won a game in September, and that was Sam Darnold's rookie year in 2018.
2018?
Mm-hmm. A game in September. Since then, we've lost every game in September.
Oh yeah, that was against Detroit.
Detroit, yeah, I was in Europe.
Oy.
Well, I had to see them. And I'm in Europe. I have to go see the team. Dedicated over here.
For sure. What about your guys' locks for week 3? Would you consider this game to be a lock for either team?
I like it. But I won't include it. Just for the case of this podcast, I'm gonna try to stay away from the Jets. My locks for this week 3, and I say lock by like a grain of salt because it is gambling. Things always change.
Yeah, not financial advice.
Things always change. So
yeah,
this is what I like, and I like to do parlay. So I like to choose, and I think the Steelers come out with a win here against Cleveland Browns. I like the spread. I like to take the Steelers plus 4.5, and I'm using Bovada. I also like Buffalo. Buffalo is going against Miami, and Miami has. I'm looking for it here on my list here. Okay, there it is. I take the spread. I would choose Buffalo with the spread, and that's 5.5
against Miami.
Miami. I don't think Miami stands a chance with Buffalo. I think just Buffalo is just a beast of a team, and
Well, the problem with Buffalo is that they played against Tennessee, which it was against Tannehill, and then they played against Matthew Stafford in Week 1, which is another quarterback that's just, say, a pocket passer. And now they're gonna be playing with Tua, so this is gonna be a different type of team of moving around, and then it's a divisional game as well. So I don't see it so much like a considerably a lock, like, oh, it's an easy win for Buffalo. I mean, it could be, but
What's the percentage that the Buffalo wins for you?
75.
Okay, that's pretty high. So Buffalo, I take the spread. I think I like the 5.5 spread. And to lock in my parlay, I would choose Detroit Lions against the Vikings, and I also like the spread +6 Detroit Lions. So it's giving Detroit Lions 6 points. Detroit Lions have been keeping it pretty close in their games. Even last year, they were kind of in it always, and their score was always close. So I think 6 points to Detroit Lions is pretty good. So that would be my parlay. And I don't spend much, you guys, on my gambling, at least when I'm not in Las Vegas. I tend to put like $10 to $5, so I don't like to go too crazy because it is the NFL and it is early in the week in the season, and we don't know how these teams are. So kind of later on in the season, you can kind of see what kind of teams are strength and all that good stuff. So any given Sunday.
This is a big time task for Detroit Lions because the Vikings didn't play well at all on Monday Night Football against the Eagles. But the Vikings have pretty good weapons.
They have big time weapons. They have people that can score for them. Yeah, that's the most important thing. For sure. I even like the over on the Detroit, but I like to stay away from those.
What's the over?
53.5.
53.5.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of hard there.
Tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I like the over.
I like what Detroit is doing. They're doing pretty well, especially since we saw them in Hard Knocks. We got a little excited. I do like the head coach.
Helping.
It is helping the bit of the vibe. Man, their wide receiver St. Brown. Dang, that's a top 5 fantasy player for sure. He is playing lights out for the Detroit Lions.
I wish I would tried harder to get him in fantasy. Let me just go real quick over the over for the games that I have. So Steelers, the amount is 38.5. I think this is probably an under.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's 38.5 points. So you're betting that they both only score, like, if much, I don't know, like 2 touchdowns and maybe a couple field goals, if max for the whole game.
Both of them have good defense. But yeah, if Chubb goes wild in this game, it can go over.
I'm going to bring up that stat that I said last week, that 60% of primetime games it's usually under. But this is a really low under with 38.
Yeah, I stay away from the over and unders, but this is my opinion. If I had to choose the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns, it would be under 38.5. You can buy points on that. The Buffalo Bills against Miami, I like the over, and it's pretty high. It's 53.5.
That is pretty high.
I think it's gonna be a shootout. Detroit Lions and Vikings, I think it's also gonna be a shootout, and I like the over too on 53.5.
It's just the Buffalo's defense is hardcore, and if they can sustain Tua, like that over under is like gone.
It is hardcore, but Buffalo Bills can score
a lot of points.
Can score up quickly.
I agree.
And if I see Tua score 1 or 2 touchdowns, this is going over.
Yeah, they went into the 40s on Monday Night Football, and then they didn't even play the fourth quarter. The starters for Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they can score and they can screw up the board. And I think Tua puts in at least 1 or 2. And when I see Tua, I mean the team.
Miami.
Okay. Okay, I'm done.
I only have one lock, but I bet no. I only have one lock. So last week my lock was Buffalo, which I got correct. But I'm a more conservative gambler here.
Boring.
Well, a win is a win, right? It's money that I didn't have. So for this week's lock, I only have one. Is the Chiefs over the Colts money line? That's that's a lock and easy win for you to be able to win this week. I mean, it's probably not going to pay much, but that would be my lock for this week. And I'm surprised you didn't have that either.
What?
I'm
Chiefs
agreeing
on-
with that one. Yeah, I was
Colts.
surprised you didn't mention that one. Chiefs and Colts. With all the things that have been going on with the Colts, they got shut out against Jacksonville. Come on.
And it's the Chiefs. They've been like,
And it's the Chiefs,
Yeah.
2-0 Chiefs.
they've been playing lights out too.
It's just when I add the Chiefs onto my parlay, it just brings on my money, that I earn. That's why I don't. But I'm a gambler, so
That doesn't even make sense. Why would it bring it on if you're adding another team?
because they're favorite.
So what? It
And
makes it harder because
it takes away from my plus 882.
that doesn't make sense too. You're missing like a team there because the more teams that you add, the more you should win, even though it's going to be very little.
You're
Right?
right.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, of course.
Oh man.
Added.
I like what Andy said with the Chiefs and Colts. I'm taking the Chiefs there. And for me, I wanted to mention it in the past podcast, but for this one, I like the Falcons against the Seahawks. I lost it for a second here. Where is it at?
This makes me nervous.
It's Seahawks, -2. They're favorites, 2 points. Falcons have been really close games.
Right.
Really, really close games here. And I think there's a really good chance that it might go under as well. But for sure, I like the Falcons with the spread.
You're probably right. I just get nervous because the Seahawks
No,
do
understandable.
they do have still Lockett. They still have DK Metcalf. But I'm not a supporter, like a big fan of like Geno Smith and be able to pull that win off. I'm sure at some point in the season they're gonna switch.
And the only win
quarterbacks
that
to
they
Drew
have
Lock.
was kind of thrown by Hackett. So that's the only thing and you look at the games that they had, the Falcons, they brought it real close against the Rams, Super Bowl winning champions.
They have good
Rams.
weapons. I mean, they have Cordell Patterson at running back.
And
They have
and like you said,
London. A
yeah,
non-existent
Kyle
Kyle Pitts.
They've been misusing their weapons, and yet these games are pretty close. So imagine if they get their act together and start performing to what they should be.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't be 0-2 in what was a close game for both games against New Orleans and Rams. So I like that one a lot. And then I think that those would be my only ones. I want to say also Cowboys Giants under here because it's a primetime game and the Cowboys Giants are usually always kind of
Low
not
scoring.
so high scoring games. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that both those teams are going to run, so the clock is going to be going down a lot quicker.
Mhm.
So, and again, we bring up that stat again, 60% of primetime games are usually under.
Except yesterday.
So I like that. So I like the under for Cowboys
Except
Giants.
yesterday.
I like
Yeah.
I like the spread for Falcons. Yeah, except yesterday. Yesterday was a horrible
Monday
example of
night,
what we're
yeah.
saying
They're
today.
horrible games. Honestly, what's
Or
up? What's
Monday
up
night,
with these
yeah.
boring primetime games? Like, stop bringing me blowouts.
I don't know why they put Green Bay against Chicago on Sunday night. Like, did you
Yeah.
really expect that to be competitive? It's Aaron
I
Rodgers.
think they're just trying to embarrass Chicago now at this point. They're trying to embarrass them.
Yeah, no,
Something.
it was just awful. There was a lot of more better competitive games. Even give me Atlanta against I'm sorry, who did they play?
Colts and oh wait, sorry, no. Wow,
Oh,
I
the
forgot.
Rams.
Oh, Jacksonville Chargers.
The Rams.
Wait, what?
Atlanta against the
Oh,
Rams.
then never mind. Then give me the Colts against the Jaguars. That would have been more exciting.
Oh, yeah.
You have
What?
Yeah, you have.
What? That
Taylor.
was a shutout,
That
but
was a
it
shutout.
was
What are you
exciting
talking
because
about?
it
They
was
scored 0 points.
Jaguars
Yeah, but
were complete underdogs.
But
and
before, I would have been more excited. Like, you can be a little bit more competitive to see it. I know it came out boring, but before you're scheduling it, you would have put Chicago against Green Bay. I wouldn't think that's competitive. But oh well.
what about your guys' fantasy waiver wires here? We're going into week 3. There's still a little bit of available players that are coming up that are worth picking up. Obviously, there always is.
Yeah, I got 2 of them. So again, just because they've been using him a lot, the Jets with Wilson, I have Wilson to be picked up. He is picked up on 60% of the leagues out there, so 40% of them he's still available. So if he's available, I would pick him up. He looks like he's going to be a favorite from George Flacco, And he scored, and if you're in PPR leagues, I believe he scored over 30 points this last Sunday. And another one that might be a good one, if you really need to have a wide receiver, is Nelson Aguilar from the Patriots.
The guy who drops a lot of balls?
The guy that drops a lot of balls, but if Mac Jones continues to look his way, he's going to be doing pretty well. I know that Myers, I believe he's the number one guy there, but Nelson Aguilar can be the main person for the Patriots. So if you really need a wide receiver and there's nobody out there, I would pick up Nelson Aguilar.
I would actually not really trust him. If by any chance Jacoby Myers is still available, I'd go with him instead. Aside from that, Dotson from the Commanders, Jahan Dotson, right?
Right.
I think he would be a great pickup.
Absolutely.
Him and Curtis Samuel, they've been getting a lot of targets. Terry McLaurin has been kind of quiet. But Carson Wentz, also, by the way, Carson Wentz, he's been performing as a top 5 fantasy QB. Whoa. So that was, this is something interesting to me that, were the Colts doing something wrong? Is, like you guys were mentioning this past podcast, is it Frank Wright the problem here with the Colts not performing up to expectations? And we're having here Carson Wentz doing a pretty solid job here as a quarterback. So,
well, at the end, I believe they started scoring until the very end of that game because they were struggling. I believe he had interceptions.
Yeah, he had a slow start, but he started picking up the pace.
Right.
And yeah. And it's still very early, but I like Dotson as my wide receiver, as the top one you should focus on. If by any crazy reason Garrett Wilson is still available, him too, obviously. Insane. Just absolutely insane. But I would assume that Dotson is more available than Garrett Wilson. So he's my favorite for wide receivers. And then for quarterback, obviously if Carson Wentz is still available, I think you should be good to pick him up if you need a quarterback, and maybe even Tua. But those are the only ones that I would really trust for this waiver wire pickup.
Well, both of you have the same players on my list, but I'll mention some that you guys didn't mention. But one, I do like Carson Wentz. If you're in for a roller coaster ride, and I think the "let's ride" really applies here with Carson Wentz, I think you should go with him. He is throwing a lot of touchdowns, and I mean he will also throw a lot of interceptions. So if you're in for the roller coaster, go ahead and get Carson Wentz, especially if you're one that lost a quarterback like myself, Trey Lance.
Yeah.
He would be a good pickup. If Garrett Wilson's available, he would be the number one.
What about Jimmy G? That he's back.
Also Jimmy G.
But was he doing well last year in fantasy?
I can't remember.
I don't think so. Because they ran the ball too many times with
mediocre.
Yeah, I don't think so.
One person you didn't mention. There's two that I think that I like. If you're maybe in a deeper league, Russell Gage. Mike Evans is out for this next game because he got in a fight. I don't know if
he's suspended for one game.
We didn't talk about that, but he went in to go protect his quarterback, Tom Brady.
Well, what was he supposed to do? Like he says to the officials.
What was he supposed to do with the ref?
It's Tom Brady.
It's Tom Brady, exactly. You gotta protect. Godwin, it's the same story with him, right? He has the hamstring issue, might questionable.
Right.
So it might be good to have a Russell Gage on your bench.
No, I think it would be a starter if those guys are not available.
Well, Godwin, I don't know if he's questionable.
Yeah, but if Evans is gone.
Evan's gone this one game.
Okay.
He'll be back.
Pick him up for this week. That's what waivers are for.
Pick him up for this week.
And play him out because Evans is out and Julio Jones, I believe, is also going to continue
out. So Russell Gage, I think he might be a good pickup. They are playing against Green Bay, who I think they have a questionable defense right now. And it's also a home game for Tampa. Raheem Mostert, thank you. He is getting most of the bulk loads for the team. Chase Edmonds, if you drafted him, he's not doing good. I have Chase Edmonds on my team.
Yeah, me too, in my bench.
I have him in my team, and he's not doing well, so that's someone who I'm going to look out for. He's in the same team where I have Trey Lance, so that team needs some work for me. And the ones you mentioned, Dotson, I think he's also really good pickup. I think maybe even more than Wilson. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because you know what? You know why? Because Joe Flacco right now is building that connection with Wilson. But once Wilson comes in, we don't know who's Wilson's target.
Yeah, other
The other
Wilson.
Wilson,
Yeah,
Zach
that's a
Wilson.
good point. Well, we're talking about right now in these weeks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but there is a good for the rest of the season. I do see Garrett Wilson being a good pickup. Russell Gage is a more week 3 pickup. Raheem Mostert. Thank you. But I think it'd be a good rest of the season pickup. So, just
I don't. Yeah, go ahead. I was confusing with Edmonds.
Who?
Mostert.
No. Edmonds is down. Those are my picks.
In 12-man leagues, Curtis Samuel is most likely gone already.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
10-mans, he's probably available. Now in 10-mans, I think I would take Curtis Samuel over Dotson, in my opinion. But in 12-mans, Dotson should be available, and he's a great pickup.
They're both two different, like they're both wide receiver, but they both play differently. And I think Carson Wentz is doing a good job. I think it's the first time that Carson Wentz has so many weapons to throw to. Even the tight end. If you got Komet in the draft, Komet. Man, apologize. I don't know how to say these names. Cole Komet. Komet. He is not scoring any points. He's no targets. The Bears, I think the Bears, to stay away from any Bears players.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have Fields in my bench, and boy, I feel like he's just kind of wasting my spot there.
Yeah, I'm not too happy with the Bears. Too much hype, and I'm so disappointed. So even the tight end,
Darnell Mooney too.
Also, I have him.
He was hyped up
big time. Yeah. I need to drop all my Bears.
Oh god.
Yeah, but
maybe I think maybe David Montgomery is safe, but besides that,
that's it.
Yeah, because they have to run the ball regardless.
Because he's a running back. Yeah.
Other than that, I just don't have.
What do you guys think about what Justin Fields said, that the team hurts more than the Chicago Bears fans when they lose? He's like, you guys don't know, but I'm part of those locker rooms. I'm with the teammates. I know how much they work for. We hurt more than how the fans hurt.
No, I don't think so. The fans have been fans for a very long time, and you've been part of the team, for 2 years?
Well, this is second, so barely one in a few months.
Thanks for correcting me. So, will be 2 years?
Yeah, it will be 2 years.
Well, you're being viewed as a franchise QB, so in your eyes, or I guess in his eyes, you're fully committed to this team. All your time is committed to that team, and you're responsible for affecting the game and winning or losing. So, when you're really trying your hardest and you lose, it's gonna hurt a lot, I think. And as for fans, fans have been there for years and years on end, but
I mean,
you have that weight on their on your shoulders of the fans. So of course it's gonna hurt more. I think he's right.
You think it's gonna hurt? It hurts more the players than them.
If they really care, if they really care, if he cares to say that, and he's really fully committed, because he's looked at as the franchise QB as of now, and like I said, the whole world. The whole weight of the world is on his shoulder. I couldn't say that right, but
don't you think it's like a fine line between fans and the football players? Because we do know that there are some fans. I know that there are stages of fans that are very committed to the team, and they get like depressed when their team like loses, and they don't want to talk about it the following day, and they've been fans for years, even like that. Even before Justin Fields was even born, and they've been so committed with the teams, and it just like, and they have like, I don't know, jerseys after jerseys and memorabilia and this and that. And Justin Fields, it's his job, right? This is his job. This is what he's getting paid millions of dollars for. But at the end of the day, like when they're done and they lose, so they get to go home and they enjoy like their wealth. That's an argument that fans can bring up. And the other hand, like what you're saying,
but what do the fans lose?
Time. And if you out of the market and you buy Sunday ticket, money.
Money, time, like stress, psychological investments.
Well,
if you're a season ticket holder, money. It comes down to money.
Realistically speaking, yes, because they choose to commit but there is that choice, right? And as for the players, they are under contract and it's their job to do such things, and they're expected to perform in such ways, right? So, and the fans, they can, they put a lot of time and money into it, but they choose to do that. You don't have to spend a single penny to be a big fan.
No, of course not. But what
you can slap on like an antenna and a TV and or whatever. Like, there's just plenty of ways to deal with it. But there's plenty of fans that are committed.
Maybe Justin Fields is right that they're hurting a lot. He just didn't say like the correct wording of it, maybe that offends some fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's very committed, like you're saying, then for sure it hurts a lot. I'm pretty sure that Tom Brady also feels it every time that he loses. But if you compare like to another quarterback, let's just say Jay Cutler and his time in Chicago, people would be like, this guy doesn't care at all. He quit in the NFC Championship and started riding a bike because he was hurt in his leg or his ankle or something. And then they saw him during the week after that game just walking like normal. So Jay Cutler, so that's what I'm saying. There's some players that do care, and there's some players that don't care. So, and as a fan, you want your players to care, like a lot. Like you actually become even more of a fan of those players that care. And I'm just saying that who does it hurt more? We don't know.
I say the fans.
It's really tough. It really is tough.
It's more tough when you don't have as much money as these players have.
Yeah, that is true.
At the end of the day, these guys go home and they're like in their mansions and they're okay financially. I mean, if they're smart with their money, of course. But
he has to prove that he cares for it to really back up what he just said.
Right.
That's it. So that's what it comes down to. Now, obviously, you see, like, for example, Tom Brady with the Saints, he looked really pissed at times.
When
he was there, because
last Sunday,
and you know that guy cares, right?
Sure.
Didn't he toss another Microsoft Surface Pro this time?
Oh, I don't know.
He tossed. He didn't break it, but he just tossed it.
Maybe
this time.
he tossed it, but they have told him that he can't do that. Like
break it. He didn't break it. He just threw it.
Well, I mean, he's a very passionate guy. That's why a lot of players and human beings admire him. Because of so many years and so many Super Bowls, he still wants to win, and he's very competitive.
And it doesn't die. The fire doesn't die in him. And it's hard to have those people in everyday life that you don't have that desire or that passion to continue. It kind of dies off. And with Tom Brady, just never. It's always on. It's always on fire.
And you can kind of tell which players are very like for the team or themselves. Like hence Antonio Brown.
Yep.
For themselves,
For sure.
A great talent. And he shows up when he's playing, he shows up, but then he quits, and it's just all on him because of him just quitting and just caring for himself. So there you go.
Yeah. It's gonna be it's gonna be a very interesting week for week 3. I have my picks in already for all these games that are coming up. Monday night with the Cowboys and Giants. Nervous about that one. To see how the Cowboys perform, to see if they can replicate what they did with the Bengals, of course. And we're going to see if those 6 teams that are undefeated right now, if it's going to slim down to less, or are they going to continue to be undefeated? I guess I would ask you guys this last question before we end it here. Who do you think is going to stay undefeated by the end of week 3?
Buffalo.
Okay, that was easy. All right. Anybody else?
I'm sticking with Buffalo.
It's Kansas.
No. Kansas City. Yeah.
There you go.
Kansas City, Buffalo.
That's it.
Who else is undefeated?
To point out, Dolphins are undefeated.
No, they lose.
Yeah, it's Dolphins. Obviously, Dolphins against Bills, and
Right.
one of them has to stay undefeated. Eagles are undefeated. I think they still have a very good chance to be undefeated. And let's see, Buccaneers against the Packers.
They also remain.
I also think that they'll win, but the Packers might win. You never know.
Well, I actually read today that Aaron Rodgers hates playing in Florida. Apparently, he plays horrible. That weather just doesn't.
Oh, another player that is he for the team or is what I mean? It's
true.
Giants also, by the way, undefeated. So we're gonna see if the Cowboys can do something about that. Crazy, right?
That's so nuts to me that the Giants are undefeated.
It's a good coach. It's all the coach. How important it shows
It is
you how
important.
important
It
as a
is.
coach.
It is. But they have played some questionable teams in Carolina, and they also played
The Titans.
the Titans, and they're not good.
Right. No, that's true.
Well, I'm just gonna be waiting for that Monday night.
Yeah.
And only one game. Only one game this Monday night. No two like the last time this past Monday, which were pretty boring games. Fun fantasy wise though. Stephon Diggs just balled out. Same thing with Josh Allen.
Are we gonna?
And same thing with Jalen Hurts.
Sorry. Are we gonna continue this 1 yes, 1 no for the Cowboys primetime game, or what's up?
I think it stops until the middle of October after this one.
Okay, good.
Sorry. I know it bothers people, but it is what it is. We'll tell people to stop watching those games, and they'll...
People, stop watching them.
Yeah. Even people that hate them watch the Cowboys play. What do you want? That's why they're always there on prime time, and they're ESPN and the other sports shows like talk about them.
I got the NFL Sunday ticket, right? And one of the, obviously there's, well, at least when I was watching on my PlayStation and also on the computer, I saw that the front players were Mahomes and Prescott. So Cowboys sell. It's just as simple as that. You can't run away from them. You see them everywhere. You see that star everywhere.
The most valued franchise in the world, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Sorry, Yams. It's okay.
It's okay, I love my life.
Yeah, that's going to do it for us in this episode. We appreciate anyone that's stuck around to the end. You can follow us on our social media, Football Tailgaters on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Once again, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.